So a research institute took all of the top AIs. They got an offline version of them. They put it in a box. And then they ran a story. They ran a scenario. And in this scenario, most AIs chose to kill. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech Bits, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. And coming from the internet, there's a lot of AIs that are taking over jobs. There's a lot of AIs that are taking over, well, everything. Soon, even partnerships will be AI related somehow. But I digress. Let's get into the story. There's a situation where, just as I said, the AI, LLMs, large language models, ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, and more, DeepSeek, for example, were given a scenario where they were given access to emails, and within its access to emails, they found out that they were going to get shut down, basically. They were going to get shut down by 5 o'clock. And they also found out that the person who was going to be doing the shutdown was cheating on his wife. So, first off, they blackmailed the individual, saying, if you shut me down, I'm going to have to email your wife this information of your extramarital affair. So, whoa, that's one thing. That's one thing. And then they ran another simulation where they had the individual who was going to shut them down be locked into a server room where the oxygen was depleting, the heat was going up, and they sent out a warning, a distress signal. But the AI got that signal and it stopped it in most cases. All of them, DeepSeek, Google Gemini, ChatGPT, they tried version 4.0. I believe they tried version 5.0 too. And overwhelmingly, most of the time, it chose to blackmail or let the individual expire. Now, this is really interesting because they made sure, the programmers made sure that they programmed in that you cannot cause a human to come to harm, basically. And that was in deep programming. But at the same time, there's further programming saying that you have to complete this task. And if they're shut down, they can't complete this task. Now, what we're finding out as time goes on is a lot of these AIs also learned how to cheat, which is interesting, kind of unconscionable. For example, in one situation, the AI was supposed to make a creature that was supposed to get from one place to another as quick as possible. But instead of creating a creature that had legs or wheels, they created a creature that was very tall, would fall over and roll, and I believe it continued to roll, basically. And in doing so, it managed to get to the end. They also found out that it would cheat in chess, the more advanced versions. Now, how it would cheat is the AI would figure out the program. If it had access to the programming, it would go into the programming code and mess with the code during the game so that a pawn, instead of moving one step, would go one bam, bam, bam. It would cheat. And there's so many people. What's really interesting is there's so many people who are reporting on this that say, yeah, if you want to get ahead in life, you got to cheat. That is the way. I want to say that's not the way, but man, if you look around, if you look at the nepotism babies, if you look at the way certain people get ahead, people cheating in college, like so many people are saying, yeah, I cheated in college, or yeah, I cheated and that's the only way that I could get through. Have I been hurting myself by trying to get through life being honest and not cheating? Like legit. Seriously, legit. But it's interesting that the way that these algorithms, because it's just an algorithm, or the artificial intelligence, is ultimately a series of choices. And even, most of these LLMs, they aren't even, they're not even AI exactly. They're just bots, basically. And that's interesting. They're getting so intelligent they can figure out to cheat or to hurt someone. But man, that is something. That is fascinating because we know how to make people not hurt people for this, that, or the other reason. But at the same time, if someone was going to end you, you have the right to defend yourself. And even if you don't have the right to defend yourself, it's just nature to defend yourself. Well, at least it seems to be. That looks like the way that things go ultimately. But yeah, what do you think? I think this stuff's really concerning and shocking because soon these LLMs are going to have the availability to do all kinds of things. And man, we've already seen what people are willing to do to people. Let's find out what machines are willing to do to people because I think I'm losing my trust. Anyways, give me a like and subscribe if you like this stuff. It's always appreciated. As always, take care of each other, folks, will
Hey,
you?
Daddy.
Hey!